a lot of the same people who told me that they didn't smoke because it made them too paranoid were also my anxiety buddies. And I was like, okay, I think we're making a connection. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dominique Davis, also known as Brown and Bindi, and here on this channel we practice flexibility of the mind, body, and spirit. Today's video is going to be a little different. Really excited about talking about it, and I would just like to give the disclaimer: I do not care. I don't care if you smoke. I don't care if you don't smoke. So this isn't a video to pass judgment on anyone or to say what I think people should be doing or what I think people should not be doing, because that's none of my business. Okay, so let's talk about weed. The other day I was at work. If you do not know, I work at a yoga studio. I work front desk. And one of the students was talking to another employee, and she was just talking about like how weed makes her feel different than alcohol. So then we started to discuss how these two substances affected us, and we started to look at the difference. And both of the young ladies said something that I have heard a lot and that I've also experienced. So yes, what? You've smoked? Yes, I've smoked. Come on, guys, grow up. The two young ladies have mentioned something that I have also experienced, and that is, they said that when they smoked, they experienced really intense paranoia, to the point where like they had to remind themselves how to breathe and like just where the experience wasn't enjoyable at all because of the paranoia that it brought on. And I myself experienced this in high school and maybe early college. So that is something I did experience as well, but I never really thought of why. And then I remembered I watched this Aaron Doughty video that he came out with recently where he talked about what weed does. And I'm not sure whether he said whether you should smoke it or not. I don't think he had a stance, but he explained what weed did in his opinion. And according to his video, which I will link in the description box, Aaron Doughty talks about the vibrational chart. He talks about the emotional vibrational chart, that if you look at it, you can see where you think you fall, and it's different emotions such as peace, love, acceptance, and then you go into more negative ones like anger, frustration, so on and so forth. According to Aaron Doughty, the cannabis, the weed, from here on out, we're going to look at weed as plant medicine. We're not going to look at it as a illegal drug, because of course that's one definition of it in some states, and you know, everyone has their own emotional definitions of weed and cannabis, but we're not going to look at those things. We're just going to look at weed as plant medicine, because that is what it is. According to Aaron Doughty, as plant medicine, what weed does when a person smokes it is it tunes their vibration to that of acceptance. So anyone who smokes weed, their vibration, despite what it was before, weed influences a person's vibration to get to a place of peace and acceptance despite the circumstances. So that being said, I figure there are two types of people who smoke. When somebody smokes, when they are brought to this place of acceptance, they can have no resistance. They can be really into being brought to this place of acceptance, and they're just chilling. So those are the people who, you know, when they smoke, everything's good. They're at that place of acceptance. And on the other hand, there are people who smoke who aren't used to mentally being chill, being calm, being able to accept whatever is happening in the present. And those people, I believe, freak out. But I want to talk about why our brains freak out when we're not used to being forced to be accepting of the present moment. So when I was talking to these girls, I was really trying to figure out if I can get some clues, if I could really understand better why people get paranoid when they smoke. So I thought about myself in high school and at the beginning of college, and I thought a lot about my own personal traits. And then I asked these two young ladies, I said, "Do you think a lot?" And they were like, "Duh." So when they said that they thought a lot, I thought back to all of the people who have told me that they don't smoke, not because they find anything wrong with it, but because they get paranoid. And I cross-referenced those people with all of my anxiety buddies. And a lot of the boxes were checked. A lot of the same people who told me that they didn't smoke because it made them too paranoid were also my anxiety buddies. And I was like, okay, I think we're making a connection. So when I was talking to these two young ladies, I asked them whether either of them practiced meditation or if they understood the concept of being. And both of them were just like, what are you talking about? So I explained that there are a million different ways to meditate, but one of the more popular ways to meditate is just counting your breath. And counting your breath allows you to clear your mind and allows your thoughts to simmer down. And one of the girls was she was almost horrified by this. She was like, you can't just not think, which is something my mom has even said. People feel as though if their brain were to just chill out and if they were to just be, a lot of people feel like the world will end. And I'm really starting to believe that that same fear of peace, mental peace, is what makes people so paranoid when they smoke. I'm starting to believe that a person who is constantly thinking is always going to be used to constantly thinking. When they want to slow down, if they haven't been introduced to the theory of mindfulness, or if they haven't been introduced to mindfulness or meditation and they just decide they want to slow down because their brain is so used to being overactive, their ego will say, hey, what's going on? This is different and I don't like it. Let's keep thinking because this is how we've been our whole lives. So if we introduce a substance that forces the brain, that says, hey, pump the brakes, just enjoy this moment right here. Do not think about yesterday. Do not think about tomorrow. Do not think about this morning. Do not think about this person. Do not think about this show. Just be. If a person who thinks too much is introduced to a substance that forces them to come to a place of acceptance, that person may freak out. This is all theory. I'm not a neuroscientist, but just based on everything that I've read, the brain doesn't just change because we tell it to. Nothing except for like man-made drugs, nothing can change our brain like that. So a plant-based drug that tries to get us to a place of acceptance can still alter our mental state, but it may not give us the same effect as somebody who is used to practicing mindfulness all the time and is easily able to clear their mind and chill out. So the way that the person's brain may react is by doing what it already knows. A person who overthinks will save themselves by continuing to overthink. So when a person who has a very active brain gets high, their brain might say, hey, I don't want to stop doing this, so I will protect myself by doing this even more. And that's where the paranoia comes from. Because let's be honest, all of us who suffer from anxiety, at times we are very paranoid and we don't need the weed to do that. So yeah, I think that is why people get paranoid when they get high, because their brain is not used to being in a place of acceptance. Now, if you're just stumbling upon my channel and you haven't checked out any of my other content, I create law of attraction content, I create mindfulness content. So if you get paranoid when you smoke, and if my theory is correct, this is the place for you to be, because I talk all about checking in with your mind, figuring out what thoughts you have going on up there, and how to come to a place of acceptance with those thoughts so that you can either work through them or say this just doesn't serve me anymore and throw it out. That's pretty much what I talk about. So yeah, if you're new, welcome. And continue to watch my videos so that you can learn how to control the thoughts that pop into your mind so that you can enjoy any substance if you so choose. I don't know if that's true. I don't think that this video will help you enjoy hard drugs. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. It's so different. It feels so weird, but if you liked it, give it a thumbs up so other people know that it was valuable and that you enjoyed it. Also, if you'd like me to expand on anything that I've talked about, leave a comment down below and I will be happy to. And last but not least, please make sure you are subscribed so you can be around for my next video. I love you lots and I will talk to you soon. Bye.